everything, but it's the only thing. In our business, there is no second place. Either you're first or you're last.
Ain't this what they've been waiting for? You ready?
And now, the W with Walls and the Crew.
Good morning.
Where winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. On 100.1 FM.
Good morning.
And Facebook Live.
Morning, right back like we never left. Another Saturday morning with the W show, Kansas City, talking sports and pop culture. If this is your first time checking us out, don't know where you've been, but we appreciate you joining in, whether you're watching us on one of our social media pages or on listening to us in 100.1 FM in your car. Q, good morning. What's up, man?
What up? What's poppin'?
Man, a whole lot, man. We got a lot to dive into this morning, but how was your week?
Shoot, the week was good, man. I'm glad we didn't have like those super like 100-degree, super humid type of weeks.
Yeah.
Just because I got a lot of work going on at my crib.
Oh yeah,
you know, yard work and
yeah. You being domesticated?
Yeah. No, I gotta hire people for this stuff.
Really?
It's foundation work and
Okay.
all kind of like crazy heavy duty stuff.
Nice.
But the temperatures were mild.
Yeah.
During the week, so it wasn't as like crazy for the people working at my house. Because what was it? It was like the previous 2 weeks, 100 degree.
Yep.
One day it was like 150. It felt like.
Yeah, I spent the last few days in Dallas, All-Star weekend, and it was like 100 and something, and it's a different kind of heat in Texas.
That's what I'm saying.
And I went outside one day, and I felt like my eyes were burning, and I'm like, sheesh, I didn't know it was going to be this hot.
Yeah, global warming crazy, ain't it?
Man, closer to the equator, too.
Right.
Man, we got a lot to talk about today on the show. Speaking of the All-Star weekend, we'll dive into that a little bit. And talk about the Ford Royals and how they contributed to the AL's win in this past weekend's All-Star game. And then Jaylen Brown, we'll dive into him. He had a viral video that went crazy this week when he needs to learn how to cover up his mouth when he's talking. At all times. We'll talk some OBJ and Nike, KD and Nike. Seems like Nike isn't having a good week. But we'll get to all that coming up in our headlines. Let's get to today's headlines.
And now, here are the biggest sports headlines from this week. We bring them to you every Saturday morning on the W with Walls and the Crew on 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
All right, the Royals had a few All-Stars this week. They had 4 guys that played in this past weekend's All-Star game.
Yeah.
Salvi being the elder statesman. It's his 9th.
Salvi's still
MVP All-Star weekend.
All-Star votes. That's crazy.
He's, you know what? Salvi is like that likable guy. I mean, even though he's in his 30s, he's still going out there and doing something that he did back into when we talked about like the Salvi splash. I watched him. Of course, the Royals won last night, and I watched him. There were like 9 camera people that were videoing Bobby Witt Jr. as he was being interviewed, right? And they had their backs to the dugout. So I'm waiting on the splash to come. Like, you guys have to know that it's coming, right? Salvi goes and gets this big jug of Gatorade, carries it over and just throws it and dumps it on everybody. The camera, like nobody was exempt. And I'm like, dude, so he's still doing that. That's something that a rookie would do. You know, second, third year guy. Salvi and his, you know, as the elder statesman in the league, he's still going out there having fun, man.
Nah, he's definitely still having fun. And it's like, it's head scratching to really understand why Major League Baseball doesn't lean on these characters and these personalities, especially from a lot of the players from Spanish-speaking countries.
Yep.
A lot of them, and I mean, we could go back almost as far as David Ortiz.
Right.
Like there are a lot of different personalities in baseball that they could lean on to really push the game forward in a popularity sense. And it's head scratching why they don't do it, but it's still great to see Salvi still at this point in his career still having fun at all-star games like that, and still getting the votes for it, because I mean them knees are getting old.
Yeah. And then you had guys like a young guy, Bobby Witt Jr., right? Like he has become a star like right before our eyes. Of course, drafted by the Royals, and I don't think that they knew Bobby Witt Jr. was going to be this good this fast.
I mean, you really don't know with anybody, but I mean, sometimes it's those intangibles working out. Didn't Bobby get traded? What was it, around COVID? I think he got traded to, what was it, the Blue Jays?
Bobby Witt Jr. No.
That was a different player.
No, not Bobby Witt Jr. That was Witt Merrifield.
Witt Merrifield. Okay.
Yeah. That was Witt Merrifield.
I had my wits mixed up.
Bobby Witt, man, he's definitely become that all-star. One of the best players in the league, plays shortstop. Like I said, didn't know he was going to be this good, this fast, and decided to do the home run derby. And I had a chance to talk to Salvador Perez before the All-Star weekend out in Dallas, and I asked him, I said, Salvi, what did you tell as a first-timer? You know, this is your 9th one. What did you tell Bobby Witt Jr. about, going out there? And he said, just go out there. He told him, go out there, have fun. Don't make it anything bigger than what it is. Just go out there, play your game. And I also asked him, since Salvi had done the home run derby, what did he tell him, about his swing, how to go about it? And he said, man, just go out there, take your pictures like you're in BP.
Yeah.
Do it. We do it every day. Just go out there like you're in BP and just swing away.
Yeah.
And Bobby, of course, went out there and made it to the finals.
Yeah.
It was one shy of tying it up, man. So shout out to Bobby Witt Jr. Watched him again, went out to the K and covered the game last night. Bobby Witt, 2 for 2. And first at bat on a 2-1 pitch, takes a yard, man. 399 feet.
And talk about because that's a question that kind of popped up in my head. Talk about the energy for MLB All-Star Weekend in Dallas. Like usually when we show up to a city for the Super Bowl, sometimes there's a whole welcome team in the airport. So there's signs everywhere, billboards, and I mean just the energy when you talk to people at CVS or at the airport. They're excited. How was the energy for All-Star Weekend in Dallas?
It was wild, man, because All-Star weekends are a little different for Major League Baseball, because just for instance, let's say NBA All-Star or WNBA All-Star weekend is happening tonight. But you have the 4 days or 3 days. You have Friday, Saturday, Sunday on normal occasion. Like the game is played on Sunday. I'm just talking NBA. The game is played on Sunday. On Saturday, you have 3-point contest.
All the fanfare,
and then Friday
stuff.
You have like the
like the opening weekend.
So in MLB, the game isn't until you have the home run derby on Monday, and then you have the game on Tuesday. Well, the weekend there's still MLB games being played. So it's a little different, but they still have things going on. Like on Friday, they had the HBCU, which put on HBCU All-Star game, which put on by Ken Griffey Jr. This the second year for it, which is really dope, man. Of course, the first year was in Seattle, which there's not any HBCUs up north that way. So close. In Texas, being in the South, it was crazy, man. It was crowded. Believe it was a sellout as well, and you had a lot of us there representing, baseball. Watching the game, being and I guess you can say introduced, because some people have never been to a baseball game, so they were kind of introduced into young black kids playing baseball. That was Friday. Then Saturday you had the celebrity game, and some other things, and then on Sunday you had some of the other fan fest type things, and you had the city, which if you know Dallas, and then right outside of there's Arlington, which is where the baseball stadium is, and right next door to the football stadium. So the city of Dallas, they definitely accepted it as their own. Right, they just came off of a World Series win. The Texas Rangers came off a World Series win. So they're baseball heavy in Dallas right now. Football team, not so much, but baseball right now, I mean, they showed up. Wasn't an empty seat in the house for any of the events this weekend.
And Patrick wasn't there, was he?
No.
Okay.
Training camp.
Yeah.
I see what you tried to do there. Okay. All right. No, but he's from Dallas, and of course he played baseball, but you saw him post on social media that he was watching everything, especially like Bobby Witt, what the things that Bobby Witt was doing. So All-Star Weekend is fun, man. And I tell our listeners, if anybody has never been to a Major League Baseball All-Star Weekend, it's definitely a time. I remember in 2015 they had it here. You were a part of All-Star Weekend here.
Yeah, DJing out in the parking lot for Nike. That was cool, but like the energy in the city was there somewhat, because that was like our first really like big national sporting event. And now, I mean, the city has had a couple. But yeah, it was you could feel the energy. So that's why I was kind of interested in how it was in Dallas, because Dallas is one of those cities where they have the big three major sports. Yeah. And they're able to have the fanfare between, I mean, the Dallas Mavs, the Cowboys, and the Rangers. So it's interesting to see how that city still functions and gets excited about big events.
And it's funny, Adam Garcia, friend of the show, he posted on our chat, Witt let his bat do the talking to all the haters. And you know what? It's funny because I didn't mention that Bobby Witt Jr. is from Texas. Oh yeah. He started with 20, I believe is from 20 minutes south of Dallas. So yeah. So it's hometown kid.
Yeah, I'll say it's a little synergy going on between Pat and old Witt.
I think that's why they mesh so well. And I think that's why Pat, definitely shouts him out anytime he can, other than being a part owner of the Royals. But they're both from Texas.
No, that's what I'm saying. Part owner too. So it's like it's some synergy there.
All right, Jaylen Brown, he responds to a viral video that says Lakers Bronny James has all the, and he says Lakers Bronny James has all the tools. First of all, let's check out the video. So you can see the mouthing of Jaylen Brown. He's sitting next to two WNBA stars, his girlfriend, and then also Angel Reese. And if you look at the what he's saying, he doesn't think Bronny is a pro. And the two young ladies, they both basically agree with him. Angel Reese said, "Nah, I don't think so either." And I just want to get your thoughts on that. Just what do you think about what he said?
I mean, I think he was being honest in his feelings. And then we also wasn't there for the full conversation. Like we got some lip reading going on.
Yep.
But I think he was being honest in a sense of he's not ready for the league yet. Like Bronny's he's not a pro. He's seen his dad be a pro, but to be a pro, it takes some being in the system. And we've heard it from, I always go back to this conversation we had with McCole in Tampa. But McCole even said it took him 2 years to really get fully into being a pro and what that means day to day, not only to your teammates, but to your family and the people around you. And it's going to take Bronny some time. And then we've seen the rumors where they talk about Bronny going to the G League and spending some time there. Like there's gonna be a learning curve, and it's it's a same thing we talked about from different WNBA players, transitioning from college to the WNBA. Like there's that transition period. Some take longer than others.
True.
And with Bronny, it's gonna be that. But I think with him, especially with his dad, like his dad raised him. So to be able to handle it, I don't think he's gonna have an issue with handling the pressure. It's the talent level, and how he's able to raise his ceiling as a player. And I mean, right now he's gonna be one of those specialty players. What do they call it? The 3-and-D guys. And that there's nothing wrong with that. Like you can make a long career out of that. So, but I don't put too much stock in Jaylen Brown talking about this on the sideline.
And it's Jaylen Brown posted to Twitter. It's a flex to have your son alongside you in the NBA. It reflects greatness and longevity. Bronny has all the tools around him to be successful. I look forward to watching his growth. And this was after, he was caught on the sidelines, not covering up his mouth.
But I mean, he had to say something because then people gonna make a big deal out of it. Like that's one of those things that like I don't even feel like it deserves a lot of the air because it's like. Yeah, like people are just trying to like stir the pot because it's Bronny, and put that in there. But everybody knows that. So it's
and I think one of the big things too is the fact that Bronny came out, had 2 points, had 3 points, was 0 for 10 from 3-point line or some crazy number like that, and then. Either last night or the night before last, he comes out and has 13 points.
Oh, I thought it was 20.
Yeah, 13. And his teammate had 20. But it takes you a while, and it's what people don't understand. Like in sports, it takes people sometimes longer than others. I think I can't remember who it was that was talking about Jaylen Brown after he made these comments. And maybe it was Gilbert Arenas who said. Jaylen Brown was the 3rd pick in the draft. And he didn't come out scoring 20, 30 points for a few years. Even when he played in Summer League, he didn't come out doing what he's doing now. It took him a little while. So it takes people longer than others. And I just feel like folks have, already have in their mind that since they've seen LeBron be so good for so long, they expect – and it kind of goes to show you what people expect from people's kids, right? You play in the league, so your son's or daughter is supposed to be just like that. And it doesn't always happen like that. There's a reason why when people make it to the NBA, it's like 1% of the 1%.
And you could make a case even locally. Like Patrick didn't come out firing on all cylinders as soon as he was drafted.
Very true. Yeah.
Like he had to sit a whole season behind Alex Smith. And then again, learn how to be a pro, learn the system, learn your day to day. And that takes a lot, and especially with Bronny. How old is Bronny? 19?
Bronny's 19 or 20. 20, I believe.
Somewhere in there. Yeah. So he probably doesn't even actually have car insurance yet. So it's like
it ain't cheap if you do.
So it'll take him a while, but I think he ends up being in the league as one of those guys that's like a role player on the team. He might end up being a journeyman. Nothing's wrong with that,
right?
Especially long as you get in the door, and that's a thing. I mean, no matter what type of professional, what type of profession that it is. So yeah.
And I, like you said, even if he is a journeyman, it doesn't matter. Just people expect him to be good just because of LeBron, but. And people expected Jordan's kids to be good, and none of them played in the league.
None of them. None of them.
The greatest basketball player of all time. None of his kids played in the league.
None of them.
So you just got to understand, man. It takes a little time. It does. One thing that didn't take some time is Odell Beckham Jr. His clap back on Nike after the victory basically said that neither Nike nor OBJ was going to win any money. So they both got handed a $0 payout from the grand jury in a circuit court that ruled on Thursday. Neither side would pay up the damages each were seeking in a breach of contract base. So Beckham sued the swoosh in 2022, saying it withheld royalties, and Nike countersued, claiming that Odell Beckham Jr. broke their deal by customizing his gloves and publicizing his contract. So the jury ultimately split the ruling and said neither side ever breached the contract in the step of the process. Nike withholding royalties and OBJ customizing his gloves and Beckham sharing the terms of his deal. The jury said that Nike waived the right to penalize OBJ for certain glove designs, according to the Portland Business Journal earlier this week. Also, Beckham wanted $862,000. Nike wanted between $7 million and $15 million, according to the Portland Business Journal. All in all, Beckham's claims from his original lawsuit added up to about $20 million, but everything was dismissed in the trial. Now they both can appeal, but we'll see where it goes from here.
Yeah, so that, I mean, to me, in my tinfoil hat conspiracy brain, that Nike was guilty.
Yep.
Especially when you look at they both were not awarded money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how does that work out?
Yeah.
And they held back royalties. Like,
yeah,
come on now. But I'd have to dig a little deeper into that, because it sounds like a lot was going on.
Yeah.
But it also shines a light on, I mean, we talked about Jordan, we talked about LeBron and, you know, their influence, but they also had deals with these companies that, I mean, really set trends.
Right.
I mean, LeBron shoes are still coming out with different versions. Jordan shoes are still coming out with different versions, but, you know, Jordan being able to break off from the Nike brand and hold his brand alone, it shows you how hard it is as an athlete to not only excel at the top of your game, but then also to handle that business off the field.
Yeah.
And it takes some sort of savvy. Now, Odell probably messed some things up for himself. But I think part of that comes from, you know, his treatment that came from, you know, that brand. I don't know, you know, what exactly would have set him off, but
I think Nike not paying him, of course. But I think Nike's going through a lot right now. You see every week there's a new lawsuit. I think there's one with the shoe surgeon that just came out where he basically buys the shoes, customizes the shoes, and then he either gifts them to athletes or athletes pay him to customize their shoes after they're purchased. And so Nike is now suing him for customizing shoes after, and Nike also works with this guy for him to customize.
So you see how crazy Nike sounds in all of this?
Yeah, they're definitely not being appealing for with all this negative news. I mean, even as Meta came on and just said on our message that Nike just laid off a bunch of folks too.
And who's the biggest Nike athlete right now? Is it still LeBron? Is there a bigger athlete? Because I don't think it's. So is it Serena? Is it like?
Yeah, I mean, you still got Bron. I mean, you still have. I mean, KD. We'll talk about KD in just a second. I mean, you have KD. You have. I mean, you still have Jordan Brand. That's a subsidiary still. So I mean, I think it's still. I mean, it's still Jordan Brand.
Because then my follow-up question would be like, who's going to be the next generation to come in after these athletes?
I mean, but you still got Giannis.
Okay.
You still got Wemby.
Would you wear Giannis's shoes?
I would.
You would?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't wear them out like
would you
streetwear.
wear Wemby shoes? Like,
I would. They're actually pretty dope.
Okay.
Yeah. But to hoop in though, like I wouldn't wear them as like a streetwear. But I think Nike is kind of getting away from. Jordan was really like the only streetwear crossover that you hooped in and also wore out.
Yeah, because
that's Air Force One. Did that too.
But that's because of Jordan and who he was as a player. Yes, the style of shoes was always very like next level and different. Like we've always seen Jordan shoes like really be appealing in our culture. But where do you go from there? And that's what I'm saying.
I think the Kobe brand is back in circulation as well.
Because I forget about the Kobe brand too. But that's what I'm saying. Like they're taking the wheel that they invented and keep reinventing the same wheel.
Yeah.
Instead of bringing on these more the other influencers. So then that makes me circle back to the years when we talked about Kawhi going to Puma.
Or New Balance. Is it New Balance?
New Balance.
Yeah.
And then Steph Curry going to Under Armour.
Mm-hmm.
Like you wonder back then, you would wonder why a lot of these players and these different personalities would pass over Nike, because and us as kids and growing up in the East Bay era, like Nike is like the holy grail. Like, and if I liken it to anything within sports, it's like ESPN as a journalist. And both of those brands right now are really struggling, and especially when it comes to the influence within culture, because I mean, people really aren't looking to ESPN for their news or their shows or whatever it is. And I mean, we're in the summertime. We're in a lulling period of like sports.
True,
but even still, if I'm during football season, I'm not always going to ESPN. Sometimes I want to watch the NFL Network. Or
that's true.
And so Nike and ESPN, a lot of these very big brands and corporations are just having a tough time. And I think a lot of that really is the disconnect. And like we said, Nike suing the shoe doctor. Like that should be somebody that you should be leaning on, and especially when it comes to creativity.
And that's exactly what he said in his post.
And that's what that's the issue with a lot of what money is doing to creative circles. It's really taking the creativity out of it,
pushing them out,
and really just bullying people. And it's a bigger conversation to be had within society, but that's just art as a whole.
Yeah. And you mentioned Nike kind of reinventing things. I think that they've kind of piggybacked now of the, I guess we can say WNBA is hot. They're basically been popularized since for the last year or so, and I mean they're riding that wave. I mean, you got Sabrina with her sneakers, you have Caitlin Clark who has a Nike deal, so I mean they're still keeping the brands, and I can't even say afloat, because I mean I still go out and buy Nikes,
but that's out of habit.
Yeah.
Like I don't, and that's the thing. I when you get to these corporations again, the McDonald's, the ESPNs, the Nikes, when they get these creative talents, when they get these different influences, instead of pushing the resources behind them, it's I want to tell you what to do, and I want to make sure that you stay in my pocket at all times, making me money, versus like, hey, how can we help grow your personal brand? Because the goal for Nike and every athlete and every personality and anybody that they bring on as an endorsement, the goal should have a Jordan brand.
Of course.
That should be the goal. And it feels like these brands really just cut the legs off of the people that they're in partnership with, which really makes no sense to me.
And you mentioned cutting the legs off. Kevin Durant feels like his legs have been cut off. The Phoenix Suns star KD calls out Nike with his latest social media post. So KD has among one of the best players in the league. You can agree with that, right?
Easy.
Yeah, and he became a pro in 2007. He's also been a Nike athlete for just as long. And he made a post on his Instagram story just yesterday that basically said, Nike, tell me, am I a bad person? Which people read a lot into this. Of course, Complex Magazine took a lot into it, because Nike came out with I guess you can say a commercial that they posted on social media yesterday with the caption, am I a bad person? Let's check it out.
Am I a bad person? Tell me, am I? I'm single-minded. I'm deceptive. I'm obsessive. I'm selfish. Does that make me a bad person? Am I a bad person? Am I? I have no empathy. I don't respect you. I'm never satisfied. I have an obsession with power. I'm irrational. I have zero remorse. I have no sense of compassion. I'm delusional. I'm maniacal. You think I'm a bad person? Tell me. Am I? I think I'm better than everyone else. I want to take what's yours and never give it back. What's mine is mine, and what's yours is mine. Am I a bad person? Tell me. Am I?
So yeah, who was the only athlete missing in that?
That's what I'm saying.
KD. And I would have felt some kind of way too. I mean, you got Giannis, you got Bron, you have Serena, you have Kobe, you have Sha'Carri. You have a lot of Nike athletes.
Asia Wilson. You had quite a few in there. And I was kind of waiting. I'm like, okay, let me see KD come on there. But I mean, in actuality, for a guy that doesn't brush his hair, are you putting him in that ad?
Yes, because I don't know what the numbers look like as far as like shoes sold right now. I guess we have to look that up, but the number I would like to say that KD in basketball wear is up there. The KD brand.
No, definitely.
I mean, he has his own logo. I mean, he has to be, I would say, top 3 in sales.
Quite possibly. And I wouldn't put that beyond the scope of reality. Because again, when you look at the athletes that we named, and I mean, LeBron, do you think LeBrons are going down in popularity? Because I mean, that's a tough one because I think KD is probably really high up there, but with LeBron being who he is and Jordan being who he is, I don't know how he eclipsed that. But still, that doesn't mean take him off the list. And especially in that video, because that's, again, why are you not highlighting all of your athletes? And I really wouldn't understand that. And yeah, I mean, you're scrolling the list and there's Jordans and LeBrons on there, and KD I think had one spot.
Yeah, Zion, KD, Kyrie when he was with Nike. You also have Jordan, and then you have LeBron.
And that's what I was going to bring up was Kyrie. That's why I took that long pause, because I'm like, I feel like Kyrie shoes were doing well.
They were,
before they got into their static.
Yeah, and then you think of just the signature brands of these different athletes, and then it's Olympic season too. Like KD's, it's not like you mentioned summertime, not a lot is going on. There's a lot going on as far as from men's basketball. They're in the news every day. So Nike doesn't have an excuse on why they didn't put KD in this commercial.
And that's
somebody fumbled.
That's head scratching. But it again, it shows you a very deep problem from the top down. And I mean, Nike's probably not ever going to fix it.
Yeah. Well, some people that don't wear Nike is KU, and we'll dive into KU basketball coming up here in just a little bit. We'll be right back. This is the W Show.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Come spin with us, Kansas City. KC We Spin 360 is the coolest 360 video spinner experience for events. KC We Spin 360 is taking it to the next level. The 360 video spinner platform rental will be the life of the party. Everyone will be talking about their 360 video experience while bragging about it on their social media pages. The captivating slow motion and reverse effects will have your guests feeling like celebrities. The KC We Spin 360 video spinner can capture slow-mo videos, GIFs, and boomerangs from every angle. Specializing in corporate events, weddings, social gatherings, bar bat mitzvahs, school events, and fundraisers, KC We Spin 360 can be found online at kcwespin360.com. Come spin with us, Kansas City.
Your loved ones matter the most. Take the burden away by pre-planning personal arrangements that fit you and your family perfectly. Golden Gate Funeral and Cremation Services will be here to comfort your family and take special requests. plan, and feel confident your loved ones will be less stressed and can console each other in their time of need. We will be here when you need us at 816-231-GATE or visit kcgoldengate.com, exchanging your grief for a golden experience.
Football fans, you can't spell gate without Gates, and great tailgates start with Gates sauces and seasonings. Named synonymous with mouth-watering tailgates. When you make your list of tailgate essentials, add Gates sauces and seasonings to that list. Spice up your tailgate experience with that unmistakable great taste. Available in 4 tantalizing flavors. Classic, sweet, mild, and hot. Find it at your local grocer, and if you don't see it, ask for it. Visit GatesBarbecue.com. Purchase any of the great sauces and seasonings. Great tailgates start with Gates.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Remember, if you want us to talk about a certain topic, use hashtag talk about it. Message us, tweet us, or X us. I don't really know. People say tweet. It's tweet. Okay. Don't talk. Send us a message on social media. And we'll talk about whatever topic that you want to talk about. We'll be remiss if we did not mention Miss Rachel Robinson. She is the wife of legend. MLB legend.
Yes.
Jackie Robinson. She turned 102.
That is, look, that's a feat to really accomplish. 100 years old.
Yep.
And to keep going.
Still out here.
Look, many blessings to her and her family.
Yeah. She of course turned 102 years old. All right. Getting back to our headlines. Nelly is in the news. Can you guess why?
Yeah.
You can?
I can definitely guess why. That's why you're reluctant to talk about it.
Yeah. Nelly, we're going to say Nelly's a friend of the show. From Missouri, he's is going to headline Late Night at the Fog, presented by Hy-Vee, the 40th annual, I might add, Late Night at the Fog. That's going to happen on October the 18th.
The 40th? Like, that's crazy to be doing that long. And it's still good to see it, like, not necessarily rising in popularity, but, they're expanding their reach. I remember when Snoop did Late Night at the Fog, and it was all the controversy and all now they can't stop hiring hip-hop acts.
Yeah.
So it's good to see.
Snoop brought out stripper pose, though.
What's that mean?
You got kids there, Q.
Were they stripping or were they exercising?
I don't think they were exercising. Not to the music, to Snoop's
polling is
weed and strippers.
It's polling is fitness. Either way it goes.
I mean, I don't have a problem with it. Let me just clarify that. But it's
and that's what I'm saying. Like this, it's Snoop. What was you expecting from Snoop? Were you expecting him to come out with sock puppets like Mr. Rogers and asking people if they had a good day?
Yes.
Like, nah, that's not Snoop.
All right. I mean,
so yeah, but no, I love this.
Is this a safe play for Nelly?
I mean
for KU?
I wouldn't say it's a safe play. It just makes sense. Nelly spans generations.
He does.
A lot of their their freshmen and sophomore coming in, they probably don't know much about Nelly.
You don't think so?
No.
I mean, I think Nelly's like had a resurgence through like COVID and the TikTok era when they had hot in here, the when it was getting hot in here,
somewhat.
And then the new whatever they put the phone up on the top of the
somewhat
thing.
But Nelly also has he's part of a culture that's now the retro. Like kids now, their throwback parties are the 90s and 2000s.
True, very true. Dang, I didn't even think about it.
So again, they didn't live through that. So the do-rag era, the big, the tall tee era, the throwback jerseys, they don't know that Nelly. And that's what I'm saying. Like they don't know that Nelly. They know the father to Ashanti's baby, Nelly. They know that part. Like they don't know Nelly in front of a 64 Impala right in front of the arch.
That's true.
They don't know that Nelly. So they know the body on me Nelly. That's a totally different Nelly. But again, like I'm saying, he just spans generations. Like a lot of the players that are playing now, some of their parents probably grew up and went to parties on Nelly. I mean, some of these kids were probably conceived to a Nelly song. I mean, could you imagine conceiving kids to Pimp Juice?
I cannot. No.
Okay.
Oh man, so late night at the Fog, of course, definitely kicks off KU basketball season. You mentioned it's been going on a long time. Like you said, it's the 40th anniversary. I'm kind of looking forward to this. I'm not a KU fan.
Because what they had last year, was it Flow Rider?
I think I had Flow Rider last year.
Yeah,
I mean, they've had Rick Ross. They've had a lot of artists. And again, too, you mentioned that it has to appeal to generations. They understand this is still a recruiting tool.
Yeah.
It definitely is. You don't want to the type of athletes that KU wants aren't listening to Katy Perry.
They are not.
You know? So I'm just throwing that out there. You can like it or not, but they just aren't. I mean, granted, of course, they may not be listening to Nelly either, but he's more their speed.
He's definitely more their speed. And I mean, the players now, I mean, they're going to listen to Boss Man D-Lo.
Yeah, true.
So,
true. They bring out Boss Man D-Lo.
I wish
Big extra plug.
I wish they would. Big Zop. That's what I'm saying.
Hey.
You're either going to get a big Zai or you're going to stand on business when it come to Boss Man D-Lo. But no, that's, again, it's not really the safe play, but being able to appeal to different generations. And at the end of the day, because don't they sell tickets to this event, or is this a free event?
No, they sell tickets.
Yeah. So you still have to sell tickets. And I mean, I guarantee you Willie Nelson is not selling any tickets at the Fog anymore.
Oh man. All right. Robot umpire challenge system could be tested next spring training, and in 2026 could be used during the regular season.
And they're really taking this nobody wants to work thing too far. Like robotic umpires.
Yeah, I feel like that would definitely change the game. I don't know if because they're using it in minor leagues now for some minor league games, but I just don't see it.
I need that human error.
Yeah, you do because and the reason that they haven't went forth with it so far is because, and I was reading into this a little bit. And the way that they have it is it's kind of sitting up behind, of course, home plate, sitting up high, and they can't quite get
and that's what I'm saying.
The box.
That's what I'm saying.
That the strike zone box, they can't quite get it correct. So they want to make sure that they have it to where it's seamless.
Nah, I don't want to see. I don't want to see this advance. Because then we start getting ideas about basketball, about football, about the sports that people actually care about. And no, like I don't want, like, balls and strikes are not that important to have a robot and to up the accuracy of balls and strikes.
True.
Like it's it's all perception. Like whatever the call is, that's the call.
And you know what though? It's weird because you're getting all of these brands like we talk, and I know you mention it all the time. Major League Baseball is a dying sport, or baseball in general is a dying sport. But I think they're trying to appeal more to younger crowds now. They understand whoever is in their marketing departments, their entertainment department. They're trying to appeal more to more younger crowds, more diverse crowds. I mean, even being down at the MLB All-Star game. Peyton was at the eSports Arena, and we went in there to do like the virtual reality, hit the home run with the goggles on, and I had no idea that Big Extra Plug was going to be performing. And they brought him out. Of course, he's from Dallas, but they brought him out, and he, mentioned being appealing to younger audience. Brought him out, and he did like this intimate. I would say there was less than 300-400 people in there, and it was a really cool show. And very surprising to me. But again, you're getting this appeal to younger audiences, and maybe this virtual era is what they're trying to move towards. The virtual type, having the strike zone that's going to be more accurate, because we're seeing these MLB umpires, they're struggling this year behind the plate.
Yeah, I mean I think that all goes with like training.
You think so?
I mean, the game,
because these are older guys.
The game's been around 100 years. That's what I'm saying. Like, if it's not training, get some younger people out there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it doesn't. But again, we speak to a dying sport, because is there no other umpire? Is there not a new generation of umpires coming up that you could raise up? Like, I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
I mean, you have every level of league of baseball, from your intramural
some are better than
leagues,
others,
but that's what I'm saying. Like, from majors to minor leagues to in school, like there's several baseball leagues, but I'm not a fan of it. Now, could we use instant replay? Use it for instant replay? Use it for questionable calls? Sure.
Yeah.
Have at it. But every ball and strike, no. I don't want. No.
I mean, we've seen them do different things. I mean, they're speeding up the game. I mean, MLB, I think this was the fastest MLB All-Star game in history, only a little over 2 hours. And I mean, because you get in the pitch clock, you get a minute and I think it's a minute and 30 seconds or minute and 45 seconds between innings.
Mm-hmm.
So even half innings as well. So I think they're trying to get more up to speed, like, be more efficient. I guess that's the word. So,
and then also with MLB and NFL, there's a lot more diversity that needs to be in the room of the people that make the decisions and that are coming up with these ideas and green lighting things.
I think it's happening. I mean, you got the Players Alliance that have their hands on pretty much everything now.
Yeah, it's not enough.
You don't think so?
I don't think it's enough.
Okay.
And it, again, especially when you look at the approach of Major League Baseball when it comes to marketing, when it comes to entertainment, it's not that. It's not that of what we see from the NBA. Like, we don't see Big Sean popping up at a Detroit Tigers game. We don't see we see like the E40s, like the E40s, but again, older guy. So we're not talking about current. Like, when we look at the current now, like, you have Lotto popping up at games to see Angel Reese. You have these different personalities going to see these WNBA stars, and a lot of them are women rappers. Women are really putting their arms around each other and really pushing their genre of music and sports forward. And there's a synergy within that. Baseball, you don't have that.
It's funny you say that because I had a conversation with Mero.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be Jesus and Mero, and now he's doing his thing with Melo. And he was there. And so during batting practice, I just went up to him. I was like, man, hey, love your content. Love what you're doing with Melo. Asked him how it was. And he was like, hey, just left Vegas. We were shooting out for Summer League. And I just asked him about, just having, Black folks and introduced to baseball, and how can there be more? He was like, man, it's just the entertainment aspect of it. And we see a lot of these younger players. I mean, we see with Cincinnati, Ellie De La Cruz. We're seeing Jazz Chisholm with Miami. We're seeing all these young guys that are becoming more appealing to young kids and entertainers. It just has to be, and he was just like, man, it just has to be highlighted more. And I was talking about Players Alliance. They're working to get it to that point. I mean, there were a lot of let's talk about Big X the plug. He was like, man, I'm happy that MLB is here in Dallas. He's like, I'll be at all the events. And so they're there. I just don't think that they're highlighted like they should be.
And that's really what I'm saying. Like, Major League Baseball needs to really jump out in front and, I mean, create a partnership with these players that are already in the league and figure out, how do we put your personality in the forefront? But that's the problem with baseball. Like, baseball has a lot of these old rules and a lot of these unwritten rules that, I mean, really changed based on the player that's we're talking about. And a lot of times, again, when you look at these players that come from these Spanish-speaking countries that have these very big personalities, these marketing departments, and especially with teams and the MLB as a whole, they need to figure out how to push these personalities forward for their product. And it's not necessarily for who's going to sell jerseys and who's going to X, Y, and Z. When you push their personality forward and they become likable, the people are gonna buy anyway. So then they're gonna ask you about these customized jerseys that Nike's gonna be pissed off about, and there's a lot of things that need to work. But if the MLB is gonna survive and not be taken over by soccer in America, they need to, become that. Like, we have rappers talking about Messi more than they're talking about anybody in baseball.
And it's funny. It too is the fact that it was kind of frowned upon when you saw these players, especially the pitchers, had the Cuban link change. Now they're embracing it. They even have a company that's come out with these. They're kind of like remember the beaded bracelets that had like the little rhinestone deals on them. Yep. Now they have chains for baseball that are like that, and the kids love it.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, you need to be able to highlight that. You need to be able to lean into that, because the kids are telling you this is what we're gravitating to. But instead of the kids saying that and MLB gravitating towards that and trying to figure out how to make this a thing, they shun it. And they close the door on it. And we don't want to have any conversations about it. We don't want anything, because we're old and we want to make sure things stay the same. And then after we die, you guys take it. But then after they die, nobody cares about it. So then we start talking about, baseball's not the same. And it's like, nah, y'all just didn't care about it.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. Coming up, we'll have our Hater They Love It segment. We'll be right back. This is the W Show.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Come spin with us, Kansas City. KC We Spin 360 is the coolest 360 video spinner experience for events. KC We Spin 360 is taking it to the next level. The 360 video spinner platform rental will be the life of the party. Everyone will be talking about their 360 video experience while bragging about it on their social media pages. The captivating slow motion and reverse effects will have your guests feeling like celebrities. The KC We Spin 360 video spinner can capture slow-mo videos, GIFs, and boomerangs from every angle. Specializing in corporate events, weddings, social gatherings, bar bat mitzvahs, school events, and fundraisers, KC We Spin 360 can be found online at kcwespin360.com. Come spin with us, Kansas City.
Your loved ones matter the most. Take the burden away by pre-planning personal arrangements that fit you and your family perfectly. Golden Gate Funeral and Cremation Services will be here to comfort your family and take special requests. Plan and feel confident your loved ones will be less stressed and can console each other in their time of need. We will be here when you need us at 816-231-GATE or visit kcgoldengate.com, exchanging your grief for a golden experience.
Football fans, you can't spell gate without Gates, and great tailgates start with Gates sauces and seasonings. Named synonymous with mouth-watering tailgates. When you make your list of tailgate essentials, add Gates sauces and seasonings to that list. Spice up your tailgate experience with that unmistakable great taste. Available in 4 tantalizing flavors. Classic, sweet, mild, and hot. Find it at your local grocer, and if you don't see it, ask for it. Visit GatesBarbecue.com to purchase any of the great sauces and seasonings. Great tailgates start with Gates.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Remember, if you want us to talk about something, you want to interact with our show, use hashtag talk about it, tweet us, message us on social media, and we will definitely talk about it.
It's that time for Love It or Hate It.
Hate it.
If we love it, we talk about it. If we hate it, we move on.
All right, first up, our sneakers of the week. Q, I think you'll like these this week.
Hopefully.
We have first up, we have the Nigel Sylvester and the Jordan 4 collab. The fence green. What you think about those?
I don't like these, but only because I want the sole to be a different color.
Okay. All right. Well, other than that, they cool.
They're decent.
All right. You have the Air Jordan 1 lows, the OG Barons.
Much better than the last couple weeks.
All right. Nike SB Dunk Low, Trocadero Gardens. These are based on one of the Olympic collabs.
Decent.
Okay.
I like the color.
All right. Nike Air Safari OGs.
I throw these in the trash.
Oh my goodness.
Why do these look like a recliner?
What? Is it just, it has to just be the color.
I don't know what it is, but that shoe says recliner to me. That's a recliner chair. It's old bits from a recliner chair.
That's funny. All right, ex-Phoenix Suns player Cameron Payne got into trouble with the law. Early morning on June 14th, former Suns guard Cameron Payne was arrested by Scottsdale police and charged with providing a false name and making false report. A month later, the details of arrest have been released. So according to the incident report written by officers, Cameron Payne gave the fake name after he got into an argument with his girlfriend. Police showed up, even though they called 911 back and said, hey, he was just trying to prove a point while we were arguing. Police officer showed up. He told him that his name was Terry Johnson. So this is at 2 a.m. And his girlfriend was like, I'm not saying what his name is, but the dispatcher had already told police before they showed up, hey, it's Cameron Payne's house. The officers were giving him numerous chances saying, hey, we know who you are. Is your name, you sure your name is Terry Johnson? And he said, yes, my name is Terry Johnson. And finally they said, all right, look, we're going to take you to jail if you don't give us your real name. And so the report says that he took them outside and he said, all right, my name is Cameron Payne. And the officer said, okay, is that your real name? And he said, no, that's my fake name. And so they took him to jail.
What a dummy. What a dummy. Cameron Payne is what? He's 21, 22 years old?
He's about 23, 24.
Yeah.
Old enough to know better.
Old enough to know better, but still young to be dumb as hell. Because what?
Yeah.
Like, because I get where he's going with this. Like, he's trying to avoid being in the news for domestic disturbance and all of this. But then you create the news by being a dummy.
Yeah.
Like, what a dummy.
All right, TikTok video created by Yolanda Harris shows her dressing up as an AAU player on her daughter's team to get into the AAU tournament for free. Let's check this.
She's refusing to pay $103. EYDA, I don't wait on the way to get on the bus. I just want to show them where I came from. I just want to show them how I came up.
Let's just say it worked, and then she got in for free.
Yeah, nobody's gonna know. Who's gonna know? Who's gonna know?
Yeah, that was funny, man. Like nobody would notice her Delta Sigma Theta backpack.
These people don't know what a Delta Sigma Theta is.
I mean, the ones that's throwing these these tournaments asking for $50, $60, dude.
Did you see that old guy at the door that was holding the door open? He has no idea what a Delta Sigma Theta is. He had no idea.
Oh, man. Well, we appreciate everyone joining on today's show. Remember, use hashtag talk about it, and we'll talk about whatever topic you want. Like us on social media at The W Show KC. Find Q on social media as well. What you have going on this weekend, Q?
I'm chilling, and not even chilling today. I'm doing some housework today. So
okay.
we back into it. But then brunch tomorrow.
Okay.
High-end brunch at Elevation.
Let folks know how they can find you.
Yeah. DJQspin.me. Type that in your browser.
Nice. All right, remember, next week, we'll be right back here. The W Show. We out of here.
Peace.
The views and opinions expressed on the W Radio Show by the hosts, co-hosts, guests, and call-in listeners are solely the opinions and responsibility of the original source who expressed them. They do not represent the opinions of the W Show, 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio, Sideline Sports Talk, Team Wall Street Foundation, or affiliates.